This is the Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with headlines and punchlines for April 10th, 2026, the 445th day of the Sex Offender Administration. The emperor penguin has been declared an endangered species as climate change pushes the icon of Antarctica a step closer to extinction, the global authority on threatened wildlife announced on Thursday. However, the Emperor Trump is thriving while causing unprecedented global disaster. Calls are increasing inside Congress for investigations into prediction market platform Polymarket after the latest instance where groups of anonymous traders made strategic, well-timed, substantial bets on a U.S.-Iran ceasefire in the hours, even minutes, before Donald Trump announced the ceasefire late Tuesday. Anonymous is synonymous with friends of the Trump administration. The Justice Department has opened an investigation into whether the NFL is forcing football fans to pay too much in subscription fees. According to two sources familiar with the investigation, the Justice Department investigation is into antitrust and anti-competitive tactics. The DOJ knows antitrust. The way they handled the Epstein files is the very definition of antitrust. New applications for U.S. unemployment benefits increased moderately last week, showing no signs of labor market deterioration, potentially giving the Federal Reserve room to keep interest rates unchanged as it monitors the economic fallout from the war with Iran. Among those seeking benefits is former AG Pam Bondi. This has been a Dr. Reverend Jelly Roll with headlines and punchlines for April 10th, 2026, the 445th day of the Sex Offender Administration. Join me live at the Church of Last Resort Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time on MindDog TV.
The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as The opinions expressed on this program are those of the host or guest and should not be interpreted as statement of fact. Independent fact-checking and corrections are encouraged.
Can we get a cup of coffee in here, please?
Damn good coffee. And hot.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
My dog is your mind's best friend.
Wake up, America. You've got a dog that needs walking. That's right, sunshine. Just put on a big pot of strong coffee and get ready to type your little hate mail with your opinions about kumbaya and flat earth insanity. Stand-up comedy? You want stand-up comedy? Well, we've got sit-down comedy. It's time for Coffee with the Dog. You make me laugh.
Good morning. Welcome to Coffee with the Dog. The dog is at the point where we may be putting the dog down soon. We're going to see. We're going to take the dog to the vet, see what the vet says, see what the deductible is. If it's, if we can save the dog, we will. If we can't save the dog, well, I'm sure some of you have been there. It's not a pretty thing. We don't like to talk about it. Aloha. Good morning. Good day, sunshine. Today is April 10th, Friday, April 10th, 2026. 11 days before we all get to celebrate my wedding anniversary, which is on the 21st. My wife's wedding anniversary is on the 23rd because she needed 2 days to think about her answer. But she did say yes. It just took her 2 days. So we celebrate on both days, the 21st and on the 23rd. You heard the Reverend. You know what's going on in the news. I don't need to remind you, but I will say this. I am saddened. I'm really, really distressed. The Emperor Penguin. I've been a fan of penguins since my college my college day. I wasn't there very long. That was my nickname. My nickname in college was Penguin. And I used to have a huge collection of penguins: sheets, towels, cups, mugs, comforters, pillowcases, plates, glasses. Not eyeglasses, but drinking glasses. Matter of fact, within the past year and a half, the last drinking glass that I had, finally, the ink or the whatever it is that they put their design on has worn off in the past year or so. And I've had that glass since I was in my 20s. I bought that glass before I got my first apartment. I wasn't even in my 20s. I was in my teens. I hadn't even gotten my first apartment yet. I started saving up for my first apartment. So I started buying flatware, glasses, plates. I bought a discounted table, which was such good quality. I think I had that table up until maybe a few years ago. It was solid oak, and I got it marked. It was like a $300. This was like in 1980, I guess. The table was actually retailing for $150, but it got mismarked. And they marked it for they didn't have a price for it. It was one of those tables that was like in the inventory, but didn't have an inventory number. It was just there. And the buyer didn't know anything about the tables, but it'd been there for so long. And so they gave it to me for like $50. And it was a great table. Kept it for years and years and years. Heavy Kev in New Zealand says they have penguins, but only little ones. I think you guys have the rock hoppers. I'm not sure. It could be it's called the macaroni ones with the straw or the little strings hanging off the side of the head. But I thought you had the rock hoppers, but the little ones. Yeah, the little ones. So I had saved up all this furniture and stuff. I bought director's chairs because director's chairs were kind of cheap. They were like $20, but I also could fold them up and store them under my bed until I got my place. So I had all this stuff that I'd saved that I started buying, and most of it was penguin stuff. And I still have like stuffed penguins downstairs in a box somewhere. I still love penguins. And when I see them on television, I get all gooey inside. And to think that the emperor penguins are back on the endangered species list kind of ticks me off, because it's something that we did as a species. We made this world like it is. And I realize that some species are going to die, the planet's going to change. Otherwise, we would still have dinosaurs walking around, not the ones in Congress. I mean, the ones that are made, the ones that have gasoline and petrol are made from, those dinosaurs. So I understand species die, but then there's also killing species off because we've wiped out their environment. Like my yard is not too far from an orchard, and right now we're fighting with some utility company that wants to do some building so they can put power lines in for an AI center. And the AI center is not going to be near us. We're not going to benefit from that at all, not from the jobs or anything like that. But our utility bills will go up. And while they're putting in those power lines, they're going to be driving wildlife out of that area into my yard, because it's only a quarter mile away. And I'm not saying they're not welcome, but there's limited resources, limited resources. Something you learn in economics in college is it's called the point of diminishing returns. At some point, you're going to keep adding and adding and adding. And the more you add, doesn't matter how much you add, you're going to get less out in return. So there, that's your blue penguins. Oh, cool. I don't even know if I know about those. Or those, is that their color after an oil slick? But at any rate, I'm going to bring in my friend of like 9-10 years. I think he's considered me his friend for at least half of that time. I'm going to bring in Ron Kane. How's it going, Ron?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. Now, I don't know if it seems like I haven't seen you for weeks. Probably because we haven't done like an open mic for months now, it seems like. So
Yeah, I think HMAC has ended what, probably like 2 months ago now? No,
Yeah.
3, maybe 4.
Now, do you know, because they lost it because of taxes? Do you know if it's going to be under new management or something?
Yeah, it's going to go into foreclosure is what I'm reading. And then I guess someone will buy it. There's been rumors, but I mean, you're probably at least talking another year and a half before if anything would open up, because after it goes through foreclosure, then someone's got to buy it. Then they got to do the upkeep on the building, which I'm sure because they didn't really pay their taxes.
Right.
I'm not sure how much they put into the building. But then before the whole foreclosure happened, they were saying we're doing repairs and we're repairing a pipe that burst and all that. So who knows?
And they never redid because the basement had a pool in it.
Yeah, a long time ago. But the basement, I've been down there in the basement, and it's pretty gnarly down there. We did a mic down there once, and at one time they were doing like poetry nights down there, and it was a cool little spot, but it was just so poorly run. They didn't take advantage of stuff. So I don't know whether it was money. It's a combination of money, bad management. Then a few years ago, they had that whole thing with like a bartender or somebody slipped something in a drink there, and it's a weird fucking place.
That's a shame because it had such good potential. They had 2 stages, 3, well, and if they fixed up the basement, 3 stages. They could have had 3 shows going at once.
Yeah, the thing with that is it would be a cool spot, but someone's got to put up a lot of money up front, and that's the hardest. That's the hardest thing about the bar business is all your costs are all up front,
right?
And so it's so fucking expensive, and it takes years to recover from that.
Now I know in Maine there were some small theaters. Remember, there was one little neighborhood, one little town that had like small diners and small theaters. And once COVID hit, a lot of them were struggling, and I think the college just pretty much bought the whole town. It's like that's like, so almost everything in that town is like belongs to the college now. That's where their tuition dollars went, I guess. I mean, I can't fault them, but when times are hard and businesses need to be, businesses need to survive and stuff, but I'm just sad that it's not mom and pops that are taking advantage of it. It's all big businesses.
Yeah, well, I'm sure the mom and pops are enjoying the information that's coming out about inflation today and how everything is going up in cost, which we all know. I mean, have you bought anything at the grocery store lately?
That's the funny. Now, according to the Washington Post says, this is their headline: inflation probably picked up in March, fueled by Iran conflict. Probably. I don't. It's like I don't know what kind of reporter. Now remember, the Washington Post is run by Bezos, so they may not be able to say what they want to say.
Yeah, as we try and get out of this war that we shouldn't have started, and we've already lost 100 times over.
Excursion, Ron. Excursion. It's an excursion. Get on the. You're on the wrong page. You're on the wrong page. What's this war stuff?
Yeah, I mean, who would
Not
have
a
thought
war.
in the past 10 years the slide that we've put this country into? And at least we're consistent going downhill.
Now, I have a it's like okay, no, I'm not going to talk about that. I was about to talk about something else, but comedy related, but not like universally interesting to people. You know, I get up. So let me switch gears. So how's poker going? Or not poker. What is it? What is it that Laura's up now? Is it poker or is it pool back? Are they back to pool?
No, pool is still the main thing. Poker's she only does that on Monday nights, but she's on 3 different pool leagues. So,
So how many do
yeah,
you have to go to now that you don't do the Monday night thing?
I don't. I normally don't go because I like last year I tried playing in league pool, and what I learned is that I absolutely hate it because
Or you any good? Were you any good and you hated it, or you were just bad and you hated it?
it's not like I do all right because I'm Laura's sparring partner and she's pretty good,
Oh, okay,
and
gotcha.
I can keep up with her, but yeah, it's just the whole vibe of pool. For one, it's more of a time suck than comedy is because like on a night that you have league, maybe if you want to practice, say you show up at 6:30,
All
they
right.
start playing pool at 7. Normally, if they're playing 8 ball and stuff, and depending how the games go, you might not be out of there until like close to 11:30, depending
Wow.
whether or not you stick around. Yeah. So it's such a time commitment. And then, I don't know. It's like no one likes to have fun. They just sit there and like, we're going to,
I
it's
guess
just
they'll
not
try
a
to
fun.
be in their zone, I guess, and try to intimidate. Because you can't do a lot like defensively, or I mean, you can take a shot to leave, so you leave the least amount of shots for your next person. But other than that, the only other thing you can do is try to get into their head.
Yeah. Well, it's some of that, but then it's also like a lot like comedy, in the, in the respect that I don't know if it's like comics have a lot of self-doubt, but it's just a lot of people are like comics, and that you'll have people that just tank their sets or their matches
Right.
because they want to stay at like a certain level. So there's that shit going on too, because
Oh, okay.
someone doesn't want to go from like a level 3 to a level 4, because what that means is they need more balls to win their matches. So it just becomes, harder, of course, as
Right.
you go up through the levels. Yeah. So it actually, what I learned from it is like I don't like playing pool like that in a league, and it actually has made pool less fun for me. And I've only played like once or twice since December, and it's now April.
Wow. And it's like you were talking about people who tank their sets and stuff, because you and I've been around a bit doing comedy for a little bit, and I've watched my sets, and I've watched my sets compared to the people who are like out there making the money, and I can see where I need to improve. I can look at what I'm doing and say, okay, I've got good material. I've got material that's as good as theirs, but what I don't have is like I'm not as polished as they are, and that takes time, I guess. And I don't know if I should waste the time to get polished, because by the time I get polished, I'll be too old to be up there anyway, or just keep having fun. Just
Yeah.
it's like just write the material, have fun with it, but if I don't get, I'm getting better incrementally, just by repetition, I'm getting better, but I'm not like those guys that put in like the 20, 30 hours and stuff like that. If they put in, I don't know how much time they put in. Some of them you can tell they don't put in any time. They just up there and they're resting on their laurels. They did put in the work. They became famous, and people still go see them, hoping that the glory is still there.
Yeah, it's like I write every day and things like that, and I'm always trying to improve jokes. I think it's all really just depending on what you want out of it. I mean, do you want to be polished, or do you not care that much? And like, hey, I just want to have some fun. It's kind of like an open mic, because you have your comics at an open mic that are really trying and like chipping away at stuff. But then you have your people that only show up there once a week, and that's the only mic they go to. And but then a lot of those I've found too, people like that who are only doing it like once a week, maybe, they'll come to you and they're like, why won't you put me on a show? I was like, well, you're not really good and you don't have anything. Like, I understand when like new comics are not really that great, because new comic is really good out of the gate. You might have one good intangible, but like if a comic at least has maybe a little bit of something, or maybe a joke or two that's pretty good, then I might say, all right, here, I know it might be rough for you, but at least come do these 5 minutes and just give me your best and see how you do.
I just realized you got me thinking that, because people don't realize that the first time people, with very, very few exceptions, the first time we take the stage, it usually sucks. Well, it's not, I don't want to say sucks, but it's not great. You can, now I think, like I said, Sandy Bernstein her first time she did comedy was the best first timers doing comedy I'd ever seen. But she did it at work. It was like part of a talent show at work. And she had like a friendly audience. Although her material was work related, so the shortcuts were there, but she wrote good stuff, for what she was doing. But she found out that when she took her material on the road, like tried it in a bar, it was like, holy crap, this is why don't they like me?
Yeah.
So now, but other than her, and I use that as an example still, because her first set was so good, so cool. I don't know Carl Hissian. You might know Carl Hissian. She says, do you consider Carl Hissian a novel comedy writer? I don't know Carl Hissian.
No, I don't either. I don't recognize the name.
So the answer is no, we don't consider him a novel comedy writer. We don't consider him at all.
Yeah, and also like with comedy, it doesn't, it's like any performance art. You see people that like, oh, like I'm featuring on a show. And it's like, you shouldn't be featuring on a show, because you might say you have 15, 20 minutes, but I could probably guess that a lot of that is not a consistent 20 minutes. It's very, very spotty. But I see that stuff a lot of time in comedy. The thing that really just irritates me the most is that I see shows that are produced and the ticket price is just way too expensive for the level of talent that is on there. Yeah. It's like, are you trying to kill comedy and not have people come out? Especially now with prices like completely out of control.
Yep, right.
I would just hate to overcharge somebody for a shitty show. And
I hate to overcharge people for a good show, only because I know times are hard. Just the gas and stuff. I didn't mean to cut you off, but yeah, because I'm just like them. I'm a consumer too, and I'm not like one of these rich comedians that has the money that can say like, oh, I'm worth $100 a ticket. Why not? They're like, no, and then they don't really have to. They don't care about the prices of anything. It seems like.
Yeah, and there's been so much stuff been talked about the past couple years about how ticket sales are lagging, and there's just like too much out there. People are kind of worn down, and now you got to deal with the economy where it's at. I think it's going to get really hard for comedy this coming year, and I think it's going to be hard for any other acts too, music, whatever you're doing, because this shit's so fucking expensive.
Well, I mean, to be honest, part of what I'm, at the risk of sounding like a fanboy, that's why I'm streaming as much as I can on Plausible. You know, people can actually, that way they can actually see live comedy, not 2 days later, not a week later, not a year later after it's been edited and stuff, but live, just like the people in the audience sees. They see the fuck ups, not the edited out stuff and the best stuff. You see the real stuff. Like the people in the audience does. Because I don't know if you've ever been to a live show and then actually seen the polished version. Like, I don't know if you've ever been to a show that was recorded. I have. I've been to a live show that they recorded, and I'm looking at the edited version. I'm going like, that's not what happened. And
because they edit out the fuck ups, and
right.
I know sometimes, I've heard like a comic will do a joke and they fuck it up and they'll stop and like, can we do that joke again?
Yeah. I've never stopped because I screwed up a joke. I have stopped because equipment failure. Like I was recording, when I was recording my very first one, I was wearing a lavalier mic, and it has like, the receiver or the transmitter in the back pocket, and it came out. And when it came out, the plug came out, and so it lost all the sound. So I said, we're going to go. And I told the audience, I said, I'm going to fix this. I'm going to go right back and sit on that bench like it never happened. And that's the only thing I cut out was that. And same thing, like on another one, the battery died in the headset because I was using the studio's, the theater's equipment, and the battery died, and it came up, and the headset, it was like they had the lavalier was like taped to the side of my face, and I was sweating, so the tape stopped sticking and it starts coming out like this. So they came up and fixed it, and I edited that out. But other than that, if there's a fuck up, it stays in. Because I fucked up. If I didn't want to fuck up, I shouldn't have fucked up.
Yeah, and I just wonder, like, how many specials do get recorded, or when they are recorded, they're just not good. Like what happened to Theo Vaughn when he tried to record his special, he bombed his shows. His shows just completely bombed.
Ooh.
And Netflix had to scrap that performances. They had to scrap them, and so they're re-recording again in a few weeks, I believe.
Now I wonder how that works, because, well, I guess if they paid him, he's got to keep showing up until they get their, it's like, no.
Well, he's got a contract, so I'm sure that costs him money, because I mean that's part of the deal, that you're covering the production and some of the production, or however it's set up. Because a lot of those Netflix specials are kind of like a comic won't actually make any money off of it,
right?
Because they'll make a little bit, but after they pay everybody on their team and then pay for the production, you're not really left with a lot.
Yeah, and what I'm wondering now is, because if the word gets out that Theo Vaughn's first special or his first take bombed, does that help him or hurt him, knowing that he had to shoot?
It's hurt him, because he's been going through a tailspin the past few months, and he was just on the most bizarre thing happened. He was on Rogan, I think last week, and because Rogan is basically like Rush Limbaugh now. Like Theo Vaughn, basically, he called Rogan out. Mm-hmm. He's like, hey man, what are we even doing? we got the pedophiles. We're sending fucking people to war, and and Joe just kind of like gaslit him. It was it was bad. It looks rough for Rogan mainly because Vaughn. I mean, I'm not a big, huge Theo Vaughn fan, but you could legitimately tell he's like, this is really fucked up, and we're just like sitting here.
Now, I know that I did a show in Michigan. And the reason why I'm making that is because we streamed it live on Plausible, and I found out, I've learned something, because sometimes shows don't start on time, and in this case, when I'm streaming on Plausible, you have to say it's starting at 7:30 and it's ending at this time, and because the show didn't start on time, because there were still people buying, Ron, how comedy is. It seems to me like most tickets are bought like the last minute, like maybe a quarter of the tickets are purchased in advance, but the rest of your ticket sales are at the door for some reason. I'm not sure how or why that is. And that's what it was in Michigan. And it's like 80% of the people were buying their tickets at the door. And so at 7:30, when we're ready to start, the lobby is still full of people buying tickets and buying their drinks and stuff.
Yep.
So we couldn't start on time. So that means we ran out of streaming time on my set because I was last.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So I have to figure out what we're going to do about it. I'm probably just like, the thing is, and I get your feedback on it. Like, I don't want people to think like the show itself is like from 7:30 to 10:30. That's a lot of chunk of time. But I want the time in there. If things start late and we run over, I want us to still be able to stream it. I don't want to get cut off. So, and people are not going to tune in for like a 3-hour show. And most people don't read. So even if I put it in there and say, this is a 90-minute show, if we start at 8, we're going to end at 9:30. If we start, but people aren't going to read. It's, how that is. Because I was talking about that with my wife, because my wife was one of those people who was watching and the stream itself ended. It kept recording. So I do have it there, but it's the stream itself, the live stream ended because my time that I had allotted for myself ended. So I was just getting your thoughts on something like that, because people don't read; they're stupid.
Well, why does the
Except
stream
for my
end?
fans. I'm sorry.
But why does the stream end?
I think because it's timed. It's not
Okay.
it's not like on this. On this stream, even though we may say it's from 9 to 11:30, actually it used to be 9 to 11.
So you started the stream too early. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I started it on time.
Yeah,
Because,
well, that's the problem. You should have waited till right when the show started.
Well, then you got people who are there waiting for a show.
Yeah, but I mean, some waiting is okay. At the most, I think you got like a 10-minute grace period. Because if you're going to tell people that a show starts at 8, a lot of times most shows don't start right on time. Even the big productions, but they're normally like at most if it doesn't start at 8, it's like 8:10.
Yeah, I think this was supposed to start at 7:30.
Because you always have to account for weird things like that. Is it taking a long time for the concessions, or did something else happen? And like with any type of show production, anything can happen. So you have to be able to just like adapt on the fly to that. That's kind of like why I like producing shows, because there's like a certainty to it. There's things you can do to protect yourself, but there's also like kind of like riding that wave. And if things fall apart, is like figuring it out. And I kind of like that sometimes, because for me, it's like, all right, I can work through this problem and get through it. I just feel like it helps me, because like, all right, this is what you have to do as a producer sometimes.
Well, I don't mind problem solving. As a matter of fact, my brain enjoys problem solving in a very weird, sad way. I really enjoy problem solving, but there's a one point where I want the problems to stop and the show to begin, and I don't enjoy like once the show starts. I don't want to solve any more problems. I just want things to run. I just because I'm a performer too. I want to be able to focus on me time. I want to be selfish and focus on me and not solving problems and putting out fires.
Yeah. Like next Friday, I'm going to Pittsburgh for this show that I'm headlining, and I'm supposed to do like 45 minutes.
Cool.
And like, I don't have a problem doing that. But then, I have these moments like, oh my God, I got to do this time. But I'm like, well, I've done that before. And so you know how it is. Sometimes you just, as a performer, you have these moments of self-doubt. Like, why did I even sign up for this? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
What am I, like, what the fuck was I thinking? But then, I'll have that feeling for probably all the way up to right before the show starts. And I'll be like, well, I'm here and we got to do this.
Yeah, they're paying me. Well, now where in Pittsburgh is it?
I'm going to be in Bethel Park, which is, I guess, like just south of Pittsburgh, like a suburb of Pittsburgh.
Oh, okay.
And I'm playing someplace called the Trolley Station or something. So I don't know if it's like that place up in Northumberland, the Front Street Station, where they have like trains inside or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I want to do well for this. I mean, obviously for myself, but then this is also the company that produces this show. They produce a lot of events on the East Coast and like Midwest. So I want to do well so I can hopefully get into their system and piggyback on that.
Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Good luck. That's you said this Friday?
Next Friday.
Next Friday. Yeah, I'm saying this Friday, not like today, but the 17th.
Yeah. Cool. Then tomorrow I have my Laughing Stock show. So hopefully people will show up. We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. When we were in the Michigan, like I said, it was a Saturday night show. Friday afternoon, they sent me the ticket sales, which I did not want to know. I do not want to know ticket sales because, well, you know how comedy is. It's like, again, you'll get like a handful of ticket sales in advance and the rest show up at the door. And I don't want and I know me, I will worry. Well, what if they don't show up at the door this time? And so Friday afternoon around 3:30, they sent me the head count. Said, we've only sold 6 tickets in advance. I'm like, I'm not telling the other comedians. I'm already bummed. I don't want to, because again, we know we've seen this time and time and time again. I saw it like there was one show where they had 4 tickets in advance. It was a place that's held like 70 people. They sold 4 in advance, and the night of, when I pull up, I'm like, oh man. Okay, I'm doing it anyway. I'm headlining. I'm doing my best show. I go to get some pizza, and while I'm getting my pizza, the line starts forming, and I try to come outside, and I'm looking. There's this line outside. They sold out. Day of. It's like what the? No, So you see it, and you don't know if every time it's going to be a sellout, or if it's just going to be like, okay, we got 4 more tickets.
Yeah. Well, I think that the stat is 85% of the audience buys their tickets like the day of show.
I don't like that. They need to change that stat. They need to be everybody needs to buy their tickets in advance so that I feel better.
Yeah, unless it's even like big artists. Unless they're like really selling out, but most of the tickets are sold like the day before and the day of, because especially now, because nobody wants to commit to anything because there's so much out there. They're like, let's wait. It's like why everyone, when you put an event on Facebook or anything, most people don't even say they're going. They'll just say
Right.
interested.
Yeah. If they say that. If they say that at all. Some of them just look and just keep on going.
Yeah. I think the biggest scam is the Instagram ad sales. Like to buy ads on Instagram because they just fucking overcharge you. And
Them and TikTok.
It's expensive and it's really no return on investment either. Because
No.
you don't know. I think at most, like I have some ads running on Facebook because I seem to be getting better click through rates and stuff on Facebook. But I mean, I've used that before, and I think at most, like it's generated me 1 or 2 tickets. So unless I take a survey of everyone that shows up every show.
Well, if people don't show up, you don't even have to be that much of a survey. It's like, you 3 people, how'd you find out about the show? You 2, how'd you find out?
Yeah, but I'm not convinced like the Facebook ads or Instagram ads really work.
Well,
maybe I'm wrong, but
I know the TikTok ones do not work. Even the ones that say they're targeted for that area.
Yeah.
And I know I don't know, even with the number of likes and stuff, it did not translate to ticket sales.
Yeah.
Slaptail says agree 100%, Ron.
Yeah, it's a shitty system, and because it's almost, I don't want to say maybe they're preying on performers because they can tell you like the reach and stuff, like Facebook will tell you that like, oh, you should get this many people, but then it also says, well, it'll be sort in that area, and you can choose like a vicinity and like, do I want to go like 50 miles or do I just want to concentrate on one area? So I'm not sure if there's any really sure shot way of getting people to a show. Maybe, flyers still work, but then you really just got to have a street team to either post them or, talk to people. But that's not even a guarantee either.
Now, I'm a flyer sender. For the show that we did in Michigan, I sent them flyers, and they actually put them up and put them out. And I think I sent them like 80, and I think there was like 20 left. Or maybe I sent 100, and there were like 20 left in the stack. So 80 people took them. I don't know, of those 80, how many were the seat, but they did. Now I've sent flyers to places like I did a show in North Carolina. I sent them flyers in advance, and I get there, they didn't put the flyers up. They didn't put the flyers up, and I was like, what the, so ask ChatGPT, LOL. Now, what's it? Heavy Kev says that he watched Bob Lazar on Joe Rogan. I'm not sure who Bob Lazar is.
Well, I would like. Oh fuck! I forget what I was just gonna say, but yeah, the fucking ads, they just piss me off. God damn it! I forget what I was gonna say. I had the fucking thought in my head. But yeah, it's just I don't feel like there's the return on investment on any of those ads unless you're putting like a shit ton of money behind it. Maybe.
Yeah, and even then, sometimes, quite often, the money that you put out does not equal what you get back, and at that point, if you're planning on going back into that town again to do another show, then it's worth it because you're like laying the seed work for another show in the future. It's like, okay, these people enjoyed it. You're coming back. They'll tell their friends, and eventually by maybe a second or third show, that's you get.
Well, like you had mentioned about those. Now you had mentioned about those flyers when Josh did his show for the Fringe Festival up in Rochester, and got him into this nice venue. They wanted him at this place. He spent money, had a nice like a nice poster made. So, a nice high resolution poster. We sent them all the materials, like, here, hang this in your venue or, any other place that you can. Like, we teed everything up for them. And when we got there, or the day of the show, there's no fucking flyers hanging up at all. No poster for him or anything. And we're like, hey, we're talking to like the manager or the director, like, where are the posters? She actually told us, she's like, oh, we took them down like 2 days ago. And we're, well, why would you do that? And she couldn't even give us a good explanation. So basically, we sent them the materials, they didn't print them up, and they never hung the fucking flyers. And that makes no sense, because for one, you're fucking over the performer, but then two, you're fucking over yourself, because don't you want people in your fucking venue?
Well, I think I know why they took down Josh's flyer. I mean, his poster.
They never hung it. They never hung it.
I think it's that he's so cute. He's so good looking that there were girls just licking the glass on his picture, and it got tired of like cleaning the glass in front of the poster, because he's just so cute. The girls are going like, Josh. No, that's probably what they did. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. That's my theory.
I think it really comes down to, if a comic doesn't have like a sexy credit, then you have to work. Like, if you don't have like a Netflix or like some type of TV or movie credit, I feel like these venues, they might want you, but they're not going to put, not all, but I think a lot of them just won't put the effort behind it.
I have a sexy credit. It's just not an honest credit. Well, it's honest. It's just not legit. I could very easily say, as seen on Colbert Show. Because we got to be on the stage and help be part of the warm up for the audience. But that part wasn't recorded. But what was recorded was the show itself, and there's a shot of me in the audience. So you see me on. I mean, I was on the stage, but and that was an accident. Paul Mercurio actually thought I was a different comic who sold him drugs in Baltimore, who sold him pot. And when he saw my face, he goes, I recognize you. You sold me some pot in Baltimore. I was like, no. But I knew who he thought I was. I knew the comic who he thought I was. I was insulted. But he got me on the stage. Got us on the stage. Myself and my wife, Carol.
Okay, I got a question for you. How many followers do you think you need for a club that let you perform? Like a club that does look at social media and things like that, which is part of their marketing. How many followers do you think you need to get in the door?
Oh, I'm going to say at least 100,000 times more than what I have. I'm going to say like 1 million. I honestly, and I'm only saying that because that just seems like a standard now. It's like 1 million albums, 1 million this.
If you have 1 million, you definitely, that would be like in the upper echelon of like performers and followers. Like 1 million, you would be golden. But the minimum,
100,000 then?
50,000.
Oh, okay.
50,000. No, listen, it's 50,000 for a local, and at least 150,000 if you're like going national. And they really prefer you to have at least 250,000.
Wow. Well,
yeah.
So anybody looking at social media, we're looking to book me. Don't look at social media because you won't book me.
But 50,000 is such a large number. It's so the question now becomes, if you're a performer, are you going to spend time and energy on improving your act, or are you going to spend that time and energy into pushing your socials?
Yeah.
And because you really can't do both unless you don't have a full-time job and that's what you're doing every day.
Right.
But most people do not. I know another comic, who's trying to do stuff, who has credits. He's a local guy too. He's got some credits. He's been on TV and stuff like that. And he has been posting like every day for 9 months now. And he said he has barely moved the needle. And he's putting out like decent content. He's not like doing dance videos or none of that bullshit. But yeah, and he's barely moved the needle.
Yeah. Yeah. There was time when I was putting probably 4 or 5 videos out a day. And I know that's not a lot, but that's a lot for me time-wise, and like, no, nothing. So I'm not going to put in that kind of time for that kind of stuff. Initially I wasn't doing it to get the followers. Like I said, I didn't start doing comedy for anything other than the fact that I just was doing it, I never thought it would take off. I never thought I'd be famous or anything like that. But I was, I really liked writing comedy. I'm just starting to enjoy doing shows. Because my stage fright was so bad. It was still pretty bad. And so I didn't enjoy having to fight through the stage fright. But now I'm almost at the point where it's starting to get fun. Not the stage fright. That's still not fun, but doing the show is fun.
I embrace the fear.
Yeah.
I really enjoy performing a lot. I've changed a lot in my performance. There's like a lot of good things that happened this week. And and I think I have figured out like how I'm going to do my social. And because I'm like everything I do is kind of like a test, essentially. Like
you kind of like to find it. Like, okay, let's see, because you actually, I know I've watched you do it in like in open mics and stuff. You don't test material, you test audiences. It's totally different. And like a lot of people are like, I'm gonna test this joke. Ron is like, I'm gonna test this audience.
Yeah, because I do like doing that because tone is very important. And like I know just from me personally, like how like the tone can come off, like it could be either rough or whatever. But I do like changing the tone where it's like a light switch, is like from light to dark. And I think for me, there's just a lot of value, and it's actually kind of funny for me. That's like when I'm doing stuff like that, I'm literally just doing a joke for myself. In my head.
I can tell. I've like I said, I've watched you enough where I can see. For those of you who don't know Ron personally, or have seen him personally up close, he gets a twinkle in his eye when he's doing stuff like really, really stretching the audience. Like when they're really, he's like pulling when he just gets a twinkle in his eye. He knows he's doing it. He knows that there are going to be people who are going to be like, their butt cheeks are going to pucker up. But he gets a twinkle in his eye when he hears the pucker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, sometimes I do. And I don't know if you've been told this, but I don't know. I don't understand what PG-13 comedy is. And I say that because to me, when you say PG-13, I think, all right, no graphic sex, but you can talk about it, and like you could even have a swear word or two. I mean, if you're going by like what the MPAA says that definition is, that's pretty much the definition.
Yeah.
But then when you test people with dark material, some will say, well, that's not PG-13. It's like, well, it is PG-13. I mean, I could come out there and say, oh, yeah, he fucked him in the skull, then he fucked his ears. That would not be PG-13.
No, but you could say screw them in the skull.
Yeah, and I've just run into that the past few months. That like going to a couple places, they're like, well, this is PG-13. Like, what is that?
Well, you did
and no one can tell you.
The Circle M campground, that was Well, that was actually an early show and an evening show. The early show was like not
Clean, yeah.
PG-13. It was like just clean. It was like for kids.
Yeah, because you had to be prepared just in case people would bring their kids.
Yeah.
And that's fine. To me, that's fine because you already know that ahead of time, and clean is clean. We all know what that's supposed to be. No swearing, nothing graphic. Just keep it above board. I mean, it's just basic shit. But when you get to some places, they're like, well, PG-13, and they're like, just keep it like that. It's like, well, what are you talking? Then you can't get mad at me if I'm going to tell some dark jokes, because I can be clean and be a dark comedian. I do it. I've done it at the Appel Center when I would host. They wanted clean, and I would do dark, clean material, which you can't. Jim Gaffigan does that shit.
Yeah. Now there's I think well, it's in my EPK, my electronic press kit. I describe myself as PG-17. That's how I describe my. I discuss mature material in an immature manner. But I call myself PG-17. Like I'm about to do a nursing home on the 23rd, and they said they want it relatively clean, and what it is they don't want it to be vulgar. They said, look, this is a senior center. These people are like in their 70s and 80s. It's not like you're going to say something that they haven't heard. It's not like it's like you damn right. Half of them invented the racial epithets that I use. If I use a racial slur, chances are they are the ones who started it. So I get so they gave me some leeway. But the one word I want to use, I don't think they're gonna let me use. That's cunt. But I don't,
at a nursing home that wouldn't. Like I've performed at a nursing home before, and it was kind of a fun gig. And the same thing, you couldn't be vulgar,
right?
But like I had it was different, and it's funny too because when I was performing, there was a guy in like this area of the room, and he had fallen asleep during the show, and he started snoring, and I brought that up, and then a woman on the other side of the room is like, he's always doing that, just ignore him.
Yeah, I did a senior center, and they told me I did an hour set, and that's this one here I'm doing an hour set, and they told me that you're going to lose half the people around 30 minutes in because they don't have that attention span. And the first thing I'm thinking to myself, they know this, and they booked me for an hour, okay, and so I'm like, but it's like so they already set me up to failure. That's like saying, okay, you have a 1 mile race to run, but your horse has asthma. So it's around a quarter mile, your horse is going to get really winded. And around 3/4 of a mile, you may have to get off and walk the rest of the way. So they know the audience, half of them are going to be checked out in 30 minutes. So based on that formula, my first 30 minutes is going to be like straight stand-up. And my second 30 minutes is going to be song parodies, hopefully to be more upbeat and get them more involved and stuff like that. And also, they've never had comedy there before. This is, and so I'm like their guinea pig to see if their people can do the comedy, can handle it, because they're used to doing the music.
Yeah, they should be good. You just, I don't know, with a show like that, you just gotta kind of go with the flow.
Oh,
you
yeah.
You just got to accept there won't be cell phones, but you may have people sleeping in the audience because, well, they're old and they could be on some drugs. Who knows?
That's true. That's true. Look, as long as I have to smell diapers that need to be changed, I think I'll be okay.
Yeah. I found and as long as you're not mean to them and you're just there to have fun, you can easily get them on your side, especially if someone falls asleep.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the plan. Look, I'm 66, so I'm not too far behind them. I have some things in common with them.
Yeah.
So, but it's good. But it's like weird because it's like I'm 66, and I'm not even. I don't think I'm even close to being anywhere near, retirement home. So it's.
Do you think anyone after the show will say to you, "You are one of the good ones, GD"?
I don't know. I did. I don't. I probably told this one before. I was in Florida, and this elderly man in a wheelchair. He was like, he was in his 70s at least, and he says to me, "I got a joke for you." I said, "Okay," and he says, "There's this Negro fella." and as soon as he said that, I thought to myself, okay, I don't want to punch an old man in a wheelchair, but this better be one good joke. Because he starts out, there's this Negro fella. And I'm already discounting him, already like giving him brownie points to say, okay, well, he could have said nigger, so at least he's aware, unless he's setting me up. That's the punchline. It says, I'm not a Negro. I don't know. So but it never went anywhere. It was just an endless story. It was Slaptail would have loved it. It was like it had no point, no beginning, no end. No, the beginning was there's this Negro fella. And
Yeah.
I listened intently, trying to make sense out of what he was trying to say to me. The only thing I can tell for certain is that the Negro was standing in the rain, wanted to get in his car so they could finish their conversation, and he wouldn't let the guy in the car because he was wet. Or because he was black. I'm not sure which. Or because he was wet, but he thought it was because he was black. At any rate, I don't know. But
you think a lot of those older people are still around? Like, if you're going to go into this place and say someone is there that is 70 years old, I mean, 20 years ago they were 50, and that was 2006. So, I mean, I would think there would be a possible lesser chance of them being somewhat racist.
I'd like to think that. Now I was in Florida. I was doing volunteer work at the Venice Theater. It's a community theater. I was building sets, and there was this one guy who was a snowbird. He was in his 70s. His name was Jim. He used to come down from New York during the winter, so he was only there during the winter, but once he got there, he was such a good set builder that everybody deferred to him. No matter what stage in the project we were at, once Jim got there, he took over the project. That's how good he was at it and how respected he was. I was I was new there. I had skills, but nobody was respecting me unless they had they had a couple of situations that they couldn't resolve, and I came up with solutions for them. And they're like, holy shit, we would have never thought of doing that. But Jim walked in, and because I was the newest guy, they said, we want you to work with Jim. Now, Jim was like an elderly guy. He's white. For those who was listening, have never seen my face, I'm black. So they said, GD, you're working with Jim, GD, Jim. And so Jim goes, do me a favor, boy, and grab that stuff. Now, and he called, and so I went home to my wife. I said to Carol, Carol, I'm working with this guy who keeps calling me boy. I said, I'm 55 years old. He's 77. I'm not sure how to take it yet. I don't know if he calls everybody boy, because so far, I'm the only one first of all, I was the only black there at the time. So so far he's called 100% of the blacks boy. And he hadn't talked to anybody else. And everybody else, he knows their name. He's been coming there for a while. So I don't know if it's because he doesn't know my name. I don't know. So the next day, we were working, and he calls another white guy over. He goes, hey, boy. And so it turns out, if he doesn't know your name, he just calls you boy. Yeah. But I felt a lot better for that first day. By the third or fourth time he called me boy, I'm thinking, I really need to value. I'm going to give him, I don't know how, I'm trying to figure this out. Why is he calling me boy? But that's just what he called people.
Yeah, I mean, I guess if you wanted to be real technical, that's definitely from his time period.
Yeah.
And I guess it could be, it's somewhat racist in a way, because I'm sure the reason that he's calling someone boy is because he probably grew up in that time period too, and it's but at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like, is that really a fight that is worth
Right.
having? Especially if he's calling the white guy boy too. It's like,
Which
well,
he didn't do for the next day. Yeah, next day, then that's when I realized I was like, okay, I can let it all go. Because before I was deep into analyzing, and every time he said boy, I was like looking, I'm like, okay, what's he mean? And I'm trying to figure it out. And I don't want to start a fight. I don't want to, again, because other than that, he and I got along great. The guy had a lot of knowledge about, carpentry and building sets. And then he really knew his shit. And like I say, he was 77, sharp as a fucking tack. There was no, we were working till like 5 o'clock, and there was no sundowning. He was there. The man was like 100% present. I really liked working with him. Even if he had turned out to be a racist, I would have liked working with him because he really knew his shit. It's not like he was saying, hey boy, stick your finger in that socket. After all, he respected, because that's the other thing. The first couple of days, he wanted to find out how good I was, and he was testing me. He was like giving me all kinds of crazy stuff. Snaptail says, nah, fuck that. In my profession, you get called on using inappropriate pleasantries, salutations. Yeah, but that's because you guys are getting paid. We were volunteers. There's a different standard when you're volunteering in Florida.
Yeah, and I think it depends on where you are and what field you're in as well, too.
Yeah.
Because if you're working construction or some type of manual labor job, more than likely you're not very professional on the job.
Oh no. When I used to work at that company that rhymes with Random House, the group leader that we had, he didn't have any black drivers. I was his first black driver once I got promoted to be a driver. And he eventually just told me, he goes, look, I don't know how to talk to you. I'm not used to talking to you. I'm not used to talking to black people. But he was honest. He told me. He goes, I don't know what I can say. I said, talk to me like you talk to anybody else. I said, I'm just a person. I said, treat me like you treat anybody else. I said, if we have any kind of problem, I said, look, I'm a grown man. I said, there's nothing you can say that I haven't already heard. And I promise you, if you say something that I have an issue with, I will not go over your head. I will come to you first. I will come to you, period. Now, if we can't resolve it and it becomes a problem, then yeah, I'll go to a chair. But yeah, we're grown people. We'll work it out. And one of the other young white guys walked by, like it was on cue, walks by and goes, there's my nigga right there. Right on cue. It's like he was listening to the conversation and said, I said, what's up? I said, what's up, cracker? He's like, okay, I understand now. We're just friends here. I said, yes, we're just co-workers. That's it.
And depending on where you live and where you were raised, there are still people that have never had an interaction with somebody with brown skin at all. Any type of race. They're only around whites. And so
they see them on TV, maybe unless they're watching CMT or something, but they see him on television. But never real. Yeah. There was
plus, and it doesn't help though that you have news channels like Fox News and stuff that always I can imagine if you're like in the middle of the country and you're watching Fox News and the way they report on Chicago and things like that, you're probably in your house like, oh my God, this place is overrun. It's hell on earth. But then you go there, it's like, oh no, it's just another shitty American city like every other one.
Yeah. There was this lady, she was married. Her husband was in the military, but he was a light-skinned black. And their kid, their kid was like maybe 2 years old. He had no idea about race. And at that point, he had not seen his grandfather on his father's side, who was dark-skinned, had not seen him yet. military family, all over the freaking place. So I was putting together the kid's bicycle for her. And I put the bike together. And when I was done, I said to the kid, there you go, you're ready to ride. And I went to shake his hand. He goes, oh, no, thank you. Your hands are dirty. And I thought it was because I was, just finished working on a bike and he thought my hands were dirty. And the mother didn't think anything of it because that's what she thought. And then apparently she had a little conversation with him later and he thought I was dirty all over. That's when she realized, oh my God, that's right. He's never really seen a black person up close, or talked or touched one, So she came back to apologize to me. She said, I apologize about what my son said. I was like, what? No, I said, he's right. My hands are dirty. She goes, no, it wasn't your hands. He doesn't know that that's your skin color. He thought you were dirty all over. And she goes, and now I'm going to have to explain to him about his grandfather because he hasn't seen him yet. I'm like, no. And then I started having,
but he doesn't know.
Right, he doesn't know.
So I mean, you just talk to him. That's it.
I know I didn't understand that people came in different. I knew that people came in different colors. I didn't know they came in different races. I didn't know. Yeah. And well, so to speak. I mean, I knew there were like, I take that back. I knew that there were like whites and blacks and Filipinos and stuff like that. Japanese, Chinese. I knew all that stuff, but I thought my mother was white. My mother was so light skinned. I didn't know the difference between a light skinned black and a white person. I couldn't tell the difference.
Yeah.
And in my neighborhood, there was a few of them, a few light skinned whites.
Well, I remember in the 90s, it was still a big thing if you seen an interracial couple. It was like, oh my God, it really fucked with people. But now when you see interracial couples, it's like, you don't even pay attention to it. It's like, who cares?
You would think. My wife.
You would think so.
Where we live where my wife and I live in our neighborhood in Carroll County, we're walking down the street, and we pass the door, and I say hi to. If my neighbors are outside, I say hi to them. I don't have to know them. I just say hi. And so this white guy was outside mowing the grass. I waved, and so he comes over to talk to me a little bit later, like when I was I didn't have my wife with me, and he goes, you're an interracial couple. Like, I guess that was his introduction or whatever. I said, yeah. And he goes, my wife is black. I said, okay, cool. And so he says, do you know the so-and-sos? They're another interracial couple. And I like we should know each other. It almost like so he tells me where the other interracial couples are in the neighborhood. It's as if I'm going to need like a safe haven or something. So if you're walking down the street, you need to hide in the house of another house. There's another interracial couple over there, and there's one over there. And he's telling me all their names, and I'm like, oh, okay, fine, that's cool. But yeah, he made it a big deal. It's like, oh, I'm not alone. But he knew he wasn't alone. He knew where the other interracial couples were. So I guess he just wanted me to know that you're not alone. There are others like
that. Well, maybe because because you are black, he just thought, well, black people just seem to know one another at every place they go.
and we don't. We just give each other the nod, so it looks like it. Do this.
Yeah. But it is like it is funnier. I definitely have noticed that, like when you're with black people, they're either giving the nod to other black people, or legitimately like everyone knows each other somehow. It's like, oh yeah, I know you from my cousin, and you live. It's like, what the fuck is going on?
We were in Michigan, and Stephen Ortiz, he was drunk. Slaptail, you may want to turn off your mute your mic, mute my mic, whatever it is. Don't listen to this part because you'll just get angry again. Stephen guy was getting free drinks by Stolen Valor. Okay. Steven was in the audience. He was running John's camera for him.
Okay.
He was running John's camera. And John has a person he talks about in his sketch, a guy named Jerry. He uses Jerry for, Jerry is like a common foil in his material. And at the very end of his set, John points at Steven and goes, "There's my Jerry right there." And Steven puts his arms up, does a little fist bump thing, and people start, "No, Jerry." So we go to a bar after the show, down the street, around the corner. I guess we could have walked there. I don't know, but it was really close. There were at least 8 or 9 people that were at the show at that bar. Steven goes up to the bar to get drinks, and they say, "Jerry, let me buy you a round of drinks." I don't think that Steven bought a round. I don't think Steven paid for any drinks that night because they kept calling him Jerry, and they were not okay. They weren't buying drinks for John, who created the Jerry character, who told the Jerry stories that they were laughing at. No, the Jerry got the drinks. Oh, and John goes, "What the fuck are they buying him drinks for? He's not even real. He's not even Jerry." And Steven was tore up by the end of the night. He was tore up. And he walked over to this one black guy with dread. Not walked over. What am I saying? This black guy walks over. This black guy walks over to Steven. And Steven goes, "Hey, can I get a picture with you?" And I said to the guy, I said, "Don't do it. Don't do it. He's trying to steal you. He's trying to like get some street cred so he can say nigger." And Steven's like, "No, man, that's not it at all." I said, "That's so," but it was so funny. But the guy had a real great sense of humor. He goes, "I'll take a picture with him." He goes, "But you can't use the word. You can't. We're not going to give you that." No, but it was, like I said, Steven got so drunk off of stolen valor. No, those should have been John's drinks. They should have been buying John's drinks. But he was so tore up. I don't know how he was promoting Slaptail's podcast, and he was getting people to sign up for the podcast. I wouldn't be able to do that. No,
they probably like a drunk guy in a wheelchair. They're probably like, Jesus
well, yeah, that's
Christ.
true. Yeah, but that could be it too. But he was working it. It didn't matter if they were doing it because he was in a wheelchair, because they felt sorry for him. They were signing up for the podcast. Now, if they tune in, that's better. That's even better. But
it sounds like Slaptail got Lieutenant Dan by Steve.
Okay, Tommy. No, Lieutenant Dan. Lieutenant Dan. Oh. I sent a thing out to what's his face, Carl Mann, in case he wanted to join us. If he shows up, I didn't want to be surprised or anything. I'd be surprised, but I sent him the link just in case earlier.
Yeah. Well, I mean, luckily there's nothing going on and nothing to talk about currently in the world at all.
Oh, no, it's to do with,
I mean, at this point, I don't even know what we're doing. It's just, it's so ridiculous, and it's just frustrating that no one's just calling out the bullshit. But here we are.
Did you see that there was another, well, actually, this is a near crash between trucks and an airplane on a runway at LAX? This is just a close call. I was not a collision, but the airplane nearly collided with 2 trucks on an LAX taxiway.
I know. I got to fly in a couple weeks, and the way I don't know, the way this shit's happening, I'm not really looking forward to it.
Yeah, my wife's about to fly in May. I'm not crazy about this crap either. No.
The prices, though, are going down on tickets, like, quickly.
Yeah. But that doesn't make sense. Oh, well, in some cases, they've also limited the number of flights, though. So, yeah. So it's the...
Well, I think it's probably a combination of that. I think people just probably aren't going places now because it's fucking expensive. And the whole TSA thing fucked everything up. because
they're talking about getting rid of 9,400 TSA agents and replacing them with contractors.
Yeah,
they want to privatize the TSA.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah, which means that instead of focusing on safety, they're going to be trying to cut corners, turning a profit, which means
well, it's like here the turn, this is the turnpike. The Pennsylvania Turnpike was, for the longest time, it was ran by the state.
Right.
And people kept complaining. They're like, oh, they're just looking to raise prices. The roads aren't that great. And so, like, all these conservatives, like, we have to privatize the turnpike. And they did. And guess what? It's more expensive than ever.
And the road's still unfixed.
Yeah, and people complain more and more. And it's the fucking Republicans and those conservatives that are complaining. It's like, well, hey, dummies, you asked for this. You privatized it. And if you actually understand how capitalism works, no wonder they're going to fuck you.
Yeah.
Because they can.
Yeah, they got to turn a profit. That's how. If it weren't, the government does not need to make a profit. Okay. Yeah. The government just needs to work for the people. And if it's not working for the people, then you need to squeak and make noise, make sure the government hears you. But don't say that the government is bad. They're only bad when you let them get away with being bad, because they don't have to make a profit. Break even would be nice,
Yeah.
Because but they don't have to make a profit, just like the post office.
But also, and no one talks about this, also, when you're spending money on people, you don't make a profit normally, especially if you have to help people, and you can't really make money off of it. I mean, in the healthcare industry, you can, because you can easily keep people in and out. But anything that involves people is typically you're going to lose money on. Like,
right. Try being a comedian. Try being a comedian and turn a profit in the first 20 years.
Yeah, good luck. Yeah, I mean, most of them are like middle class comics, and how much money are they actually making?
There was one of these AI questions. I think it was I'm sorry. It was a Facebook comedy group, and this one comedian asked, how long were you doing comedy when you first got paid? And for me, the answer was like 6 months when I got my first paying gig. But that's a different question between first time I got paid and when have I turned a profit? I have not turned a profit yet. Sure, I've been paid lots of times. Turning a profit is something totally different. And when you're trying to produce a show, I can't speak for you. You can you can speak for yourself. My main focus is to produce the best show I can, so that eventually people will start coming to more and more shows, and they'll see a profit. I'll see a profit. But if I break even in the long run, I think I'd be happy. I think. Yeah. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and it's almost next to impossible unless you have like some good breaks and shit like that.
Especially if you're trying to be decent about it. Because I think because most comedians don't get paid. Hosts don't get paid. Generally speaking, hosts don't get paid. Openers don't get paid. I try to pay everybody, even if it's nothing more than gas money. I try to, pay, make sure everybody gets paid.
If I make money on a show, then typically I'll give the guest spot a little money. But it just depends on what the show is. Because like with a guest spot, it's like, that's nice if you can give them some money, but it's also a guest spot. So, but I also try to be like reasonable when it comes to my guest spots. Like if someone reaches out to me and like I want to book them, it's like, well, okay, yeah, that's fine. But also like if I'm looking for a guest spot, I try and keep it like very local, because I wouldn't ask someone from like DC like to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours just to come do a guest spot and not pay them, because
Right.
I think that's unfair. Would they do it? Possibly.
Yeah.
But I just don't think that's right to do to somebody.
Especially if they're a friend. If they're a friend, they may do it. Yeah, for you, sure, I'll do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, it's one thing if they want to do it on their own and they reach out to me. And yeah, so I try and take all of that into account when it comes to like paying people for shows. But also, like, when you get into doing comedy like this, you're going to lose money. You're going to lose money on travel. You're going to lose money on shows, because not every show is a fucking home run, because it's just the nature of the business. Because maybe there's so much competition that weekend or whatever else. So it's always dicey when you're doing any type of performance art. At least the nice thing about being a comedian, you don't have like 3 other band members to worry about most of the time. So that's nice.
Yeah.
Or split the check with 3 other comedians. Unless you got like a manager and an agent and shit.
Not yet. I'm working on it, trying to get one. Mainly because I'm just so many things that just so much minutia I'm tired of dealing with. You know.
Well, like what? Just the
stuff.
Personalities?
Yeah, the personalities and the booking stuff. I put in the work in to write new material, put in the work into practice, put in the work in to get better. But I'll give you an example. There's a place I've already performed at. They said immediately afterwards, said, we want you guys back. We want you guys back in the summer. And so I'm like saying, okay, well, I need some dates so we can, because it's not just me, it's 3 of us, 4 of us. We need to coordinate so that we make sure we have that day open. And I need to time to promote, and I still haven't gotten dates yet. So I'm going to reach out one more time today. Now, at some point, like I said, part of me just says like, fuck it. If you're not getting back to me, then you don't want me. That's it. And then after a while, it's like, if I start to hit a dry spell, I'm going like, okay, let me reach out to them again, because I don't have anything in July or anything. I don't have anything in August. No, let me reach out to some of these people again.
Yeah, I think I am actually like, I have my Laughing Stock show coming up this Saturday, which you can get tickets for at laughingstockcc.com. Then I have my other show that I'm producing up in Williamsport, which happens May 1st. But like, after this Laughing Stock show, I don't think I'm going to plan on producing another show until September or October. I'm going to take the summer off producing wise, and because I'm just kind of bored with producing at this point, because I've produced like a shit ton of shows, and I just look around at like what's going on in the scenes and stuff, and so I'm just being a little more thoughtful on my lifts and like what I'm going to do, because there's things I want to produce, but I'm just not sure if I'm interested at this point, especially like with my mom and stuff, and what's going on with that. I feel like this summer I'm not gonna produce much, and I'm just gonna do more performing than anything. But I've been doing that the past few months, because like the shows that I've produced in between here the past few months, it's been like a lift and a work for me to do it. And it's not like, and it's me, it's not like getting the comics or anything like that, because I just don't have like the real desire to produce like that, because especially in this area, because I feel like most of the people I've worked with, and most of the people there's some comics I won't hire just completely out of principle now. And I'm all right with that, and I feel like people still ask me like, can you put me on a show and stuff, But like I'm not producing a monthly anymore, which I'm very happy about because I did that for fucking 4.5 years, and that was a lot, and with the other shows. So yeah, I don't know exactly what I want to do yet. I got some stuff cooking with Josh, so we'll see.
Well, I was really hoping that the Circle M one would have turned into more of a regular thing. But I think being a campground, it would only be during the summers anyway, right? So
Yeah, and they didn't like I raised my price when they came back to me. It was a different person. I raised my price by 12%. And they're like, well, we can't afford that. It's like it's really not that much more. So, and you know what? I'm. It was kind of a fun gig, but I'm glad I'm done with it,
right.
especially after the last show there, because of like the whole. It was like very cultish when the woman wanted people to sing a song about Trump and stuff like that,
Oh,
and
okay.
and I can't like going into that place now and trying to do comedy when they tell you, well, you got to be on this one show, and yeah, it's not really a great audience.
That's a shame. That's a shame.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because they were fun shows. Even the last one they got weird, but the other shows I did there, it was a good time, and it was a different experience for sure. But yeah,
Mm,
I don't know. I feel like if you have people there paying all that money to come there for summers and stay, I think you could afford my 12%.
yeah, I would think so. Unless unless they're skimming the money off the top and they're really not. It's like what? No, we're not making any extra money. That
Yeah,
car
and
out there, that new car.
I was just irritated by that too because we gave them 2 good summers. Like all the shows we did there, we had good feedback on, and but then change in management, and that's all it takes sometimes.
Yeah.
Because that's what happened with Fratelli's. Because the one guy left, and we are just kind of hanging on, and then the one lady that works there just didn't want to do comedy. And it's like, well, thank you, because you're kind of helping me out here. So that ended. Then and I'm also happy that HMAC, like Mr. Tongue, has ended. I'm happy with that.
Yeah. Well, so you needed a break too. You've been doing that one you did for like what 6 years, I guess. It was a long time.
Yeah. It would have been six. I think 6 years this month. So yeah, I mean, I kind of miss it because it was a good vibe there, but if you're not going to pay your taxes and shit. But they were also that place was always janky too, but it helped me a lot. I learned a lot about producing.
Yeah. Now I know there's I'm so disconnected from the local scene still. You would think that being a local comic, I'd be a little more connected to the local scene because that's where I would be. I'm just not connected. And it's not the scene that bothers me. I don't mind being a lower level comic. It's the people that bother me at the lower level. It's almost like I used to play in the basketball league, and everybody in the league, okay, we are an 18 and over league. Okay, none of us are NBA stars, but half the guys there, for some reason or another, thought like the NBA overlooked them, and they were just stuck in the league playing with us. It's like,
Yeah.
no, you are one of us. You're one of us. Okay, yeah, you can dribble a little bit better, or you can run a little bit faster. You can dunk. You can jump a little bit higher, but you're one of us. You're not Michael Jordan. You're not LeBron James. You're not, Kevin Durant. You're not these guys. And that's the extent of my basketball
Yeah.
knowledge. You're
But
not
then
one of those
then
guys.
then these people get a little bit of power, and then
Yes.
they think that they're great comics, and most gatekeepers are not good comics. They're the exact opposite. They're fucking just terrible.
And there was one guy, I can't remember his name, but he has the place in Baltimore called the Port. Is that what it's called?
Yes.
I mean, when he first opened up, I invited him on here so he could try to get some free publicity, so to speak, to get nothing. I've reached every contact I was given said, no, well, he'll respond to this. Is like, turns out, no, he doesn't respond to people that aren't his buddies and friends. It's like, I don't need that kind of-
that's no, I understand your frustration with that. And yeah.
Now, Heavy Kev, this is going back a few minutes. Heavy Kev says, we don't have black or white people here. They are all brown or light beige. New Zealand.
Yeah, I guess so.
No, I get concerned because weren't there Aborigines down there? Didn't you have Aborigines where? I know Australia has Aborigines. New Zealand is not that far away. Weren't there the Aborigines there? What did y'all do with them? I'm a little concerned.
Does it get warm enough in New Zealand for them?
I don't know the answer to that.
I mean, because Aborigines usually don't dress very much, so I mean, you're going to need a year-round warm climate.
Well, I can see them having winter clothes or winter pelts. I don't know. I don't want to sound racist or National Geographic. This I don't want to sound like I don't know my National Geo, because I don't. I really don't. If Attenborough hasn't told me about it, I don't really know much about it.
Are there's people, are people that are living in tribes though? Aren't they really? Maybe they're having their best lives. I mean,
some of them.
I mean, granted, you got to hunt for your shit and stuff like that, but I guess I would feel like some of it would be okay because you're not at least dealing with the outside world's bullshit. But I guess you have your tribal bullshit you got to deal with every day.
That, and can you imagine, like South America, places where there's still, people are still speaking their native tongue, but their culture is bumping up against European culture, clothing, the pollution. And that's my thing, the pollution and the land grabs. That's, because no matter where you are, if you're fishing people and your waters are now being fucked up because not something that you did, but something that countries are doing thousands of miles away. Maybe an oil spill by one of the Exxon boats in the Gulf of New Mexico eventually makes its way to, not big enough, but enough that the fish that would migrate to your area don't get to migrate because they were killed off by oil spills and stuff like that. It's nice. I mean, it seems like a simple enough life. I mean, when I watch it on television, it seems so romanticized. And then I come back into my computer so I can write my comedy and put it in my spreadsheet because I don't have a book. I don't use.
I would like to see, when they go into these tribes, there at least be one person there, like, can you get me out of this fucking place? I mean, god damn, I gotta get out.
It's almost like, and a lot of them don't have Rumspringer, like the Amish have.
Yeah,
the Amish go like, okay, look, you get a few weeks to test it out to see if you really want to be one of us. When you come back, though, if you come back, you're all in. You don't get 2 Rumspringers. You get 1. That's it. And then they come back and like, look, I really want to be Amish, but I want a phone. Can I be an Amish and have a phone? Says, no, that's Mennonite. Can you go be a Mennonite?
And you mean all the women don't wear dresses all the time? Long dresses and headbands? That's crazy.
I can see one going to his first gentleman's ballet strip club.
Yeah. Oh, strip clubs. I normally don't. I'm not a big strip club guy. I mean, I like boobies and everything else, but yeah, strip clubs are always sad to me. You, just a lot
I
of sad guys in there.
Yeah, I was gonna say a lot of sad guys. Yeah, because um, the a lot of the women I shouldn't say no or knew, but I should say encountered. A good chunk of them actually were there going to school, and a good chunk of them actually got their degrees. You know,
Okay, well I mean that's
yeah,
something.
but that was Atlanta. That's
Yeah, that's a different ball game.
yeah, yes, different
That's
ball
not like
game.
a strip club in Williamsport, Pennsylvania,
No,
or Westminster, Maryland,
no,
or
or
oh my God, there
sensations. Yeah,
in Wisconsin, where Lars one on he lives in I don't know this one small I guess you call it a town or whatever, but anyway at like this this intersection 4-way stop in the middle of nowhere there is a strip club that sits at this 4-way intersection, and the word is like never go in there because it's rough. But I want to go in there because I'm curious.
well, it's funny. There was one when I used to live in Windsor Mill. There was one a few miles down the road from my house on the same street as my, but just like a few miles down the road. One of the guys I was working with, we're at lunch. We went there for lunch. And he says this the soup and pizza here is really good and it's really inexpensive. And I'm trying to think the guy I was working with then I can remember his face. I can't remember his name. God. And it was so sad. First of all, the pizza wasn't good. It was frozen pizza, like they bought it at the store, the same frozen pizza I could have bought from the store. So when he said the pizza was good, it's like, no, it was hot. And the soup, I'm pretty sure it was just Campbell's soup. I'm pretty sure they just went and poured it, heated up and poured it in things like, yeah, you could get this in the supermarket. So yeah, he was sad, and it was just sad.
Well, that has definitely changed because there are strip clubs now that do offer pretty good food. Like they have stepped up their food game to get people into the door.
Now I know there was again when I used to work for there's a company called SPT out of Pennsylvania, out of York, PA, and I think it was York. No, it wasn't York. I'll remember the town a little bit later. It was in Pennsylvania, and the CFO, Chief Financial Officer, did not want us eating at Hooters because she equated Hooters with being a strip bar. So we couldn't go to titty bars and Hooters. But the problem was, as far as the CFO goes, if you went to a legitimate strip club, they could itemize, they would write things on the check. So it would say like dinner, dinner and dessert or something, or dinner special. That just was a stripper. That was, they had the entertainment listed like food items. So you could go in there and order food items, and that's what your receipt would say. But if you went into Hooters, even though it would say chicken wings or chicken fingers, it's like, no, you can't go to Hooters because it's Hooters. But you can go to the Classic Kingdom or whatever and get the dinner special, the blue plate dinner special for $100. No.
My cat is pawing at me.
Oh.
That's what's going on. I'm like sitting here and I just all of a sudden feel like paws on me.
Mine is sleeping.
Yeah, she's under the table now.
Yeah, so
what do you got anything planned for this weekend?
Well, our anniversary is coming up on the 20th. Let's see, this weekend is what, the 11th. So no, I'm just writing material.
Are you doing anything for your anniversary?
We're making plans. So we're probably going to. I don't know if we're going to do it the 18th or the 25th. That's where we have to make that decision. I think we know where we're going to go. It's just a matter of when we're going to go.
Okay.
But see, the 20. I know the 23rd I got a gig, and the May 24th, Crack the Sky is performing in Westminster. Okay. And I'm introducing them and doing some comedy before they come up.
Okay.
So that to me, that's like a big deal, even though it's probably no more than 5 to 7 minutes of comedy. You know, It's like a traditional guest spot. But talking about like 1,000 people.
Yeah.
So I'm a little bit nervous because I've never performed for more than 200 people.
Yeah. Well, it'll be a good experience.
Yeah. And that was all inside. This is an outdoor venue.
Yeah.
It's just going to look different. Like I said, but I got to worry about this other show first. Because that's the 23rd.
At least you get a free show out of it.
Oh yeah. I'm got backstage passes. I have a 1+1, but Carol's not going to make it. Carol's going to be in Canada.
Yeah.
So she'll do anything not to see me perform. No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm sure she really wants to be there, but she's.
As soon as you told her, she's like, "Yep, look, I just booked the flight." While you're telling her, it's like, "Oh, okay."
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I thought you said the 28th, the 24th. Oh, let me move that. 24th. Yeah, no, she
definitely check your calendar. I updated the calendar already.
She actually was planned. It was planned months in advance. Actually, they started talking about it last year after the last time they went to Canada, and they knew it was going to be like in May, and so they narrowed it down like a couple of weeks ago or so, a month ago, before I found out. So, but it's like, it's now, it was funny because I found out I'm like April 1st, I get a text and it's from the manager, Crack the Sky, the road manager. And he goes, "Do you want to introduce Crack the Sky on May 24th? And maybe do some comedy." And I got it on April Fool's Day, Ron. And I'm thinking to myself, man, he's fucking with me. So I sent them a text right back. I said, "If this is an April Fool's joke, don't tell me until tomorrow because let me have my day." I wrote back, I said, "Absolutely." And then I said, "But if this is an April Fool's joke, just let me know tomorrow so that I can have my one day of going, yes, I'm going to open for Crack the Sky." And he said back, he goes, no, this is not. He goes, "I didn't even know it was April Fool's Day. I didn't know it was." He goes, "No, this isn't a joke. I didn't even know it was April 1st. I was like, "All right, great, cool." So I'm excited. It's to get to,
Do you think they'll let your wife back in the country?
Well, she has blonde hair and blue eyes. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, tell her to start speaking with an Austrian accent.
Yeah, as long as she doesn't or as long as she doesn't speak with a Canadian accent, she'll be fine. Because I think we're still having problems with Canada. Well, she's flying to Maine and driving to Canada.
Yeah.
So,
I was reading that like the far right political party in Germany is it looks like they may win their elections, and it'll be like the first time in, I don't know, 70, 80 years that the country of Germany is going to elect another far right person. That's where we're at.
And they're Nazi. They are Nazi. They're not calling themselves Nazis, but they are Nazis.
Yeah, and that kind of, it's so we'll see what happens. But it's so crazy that these people are coming into power, especially when you see everything that's. I mean, they're proving their point that they can't govern. So I don't understand why people keep lining up behind it.
I fear of the other. But I guess they're afraid of like I said, there's a big lie, a huge lie that these countries are being overrun with Muslims, and they're not. Even if they're coming in, they're not being overrun with it. Quite often they may go to like a community or two, but no, not being overrun. It's like Carroll County, they thought they were being overrun with blacks. They've been saying that for years, and guess what? I think Carroll County is still like 85% white. And the ones that and what's not white, some are black, some are Hispanic.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, how is like I've noticed in York, especially in the past probably 2 years, the number of like vape shops that are open now. Are you seeing a lot of that in Westminster as well?
Yeah,
Like
I am
vape
seeing it,
shops
and I don't
everywhere.
understand it. I don't understand it because how many can you? I don't know how many customers you have to support a vape shop. I don't know, but you would think that they'd be saturated, like kind of like having like 7-Elevens almost.
Yeah.
And what are they selling in the vape shops? I mean, vape stuff and what?
They're basically like smoke shops essentially. I mean it's vape and most of them have cigars now, but then there's a lot of weed paraphernalia and shit like that. Like, oh, you're gonna use this to smoke tobacco and things like that because there's the Excitement Smoke Shop is like that. They have a big sign when you walk in. It's like on the wall. It's like all this stuff is for tobacco use only, and please no discussion of anything else. This is a pure tobacco shop.
Yeah, and they're right next to the adult entertainment. Definitely not porn.
Well, same company.
Yeah, same company, but just right next door.
Yeah, like in York, it's like a couple doors down.
Oh, okay.
But they have another location in like the Harrisburg area, Camp Hill, where it's one side is the sex shop and the other side is the vape shop, and they're connected. There's a little hallway. You can just go right into the other store and go back and forth.
Yeah, I kind of miss West End, the West End in New York, the York End in West York.
The West York End?
West York End. I kind of miss that place.
Well, they're still open. You can still go.
Yeah, you can go, but they just can't do entertainment.
Well, the back room there now is like a game room. So now they have a pool table, I think, back there again. And then, of course, they have a few slot machines. Because that's the other thing in Pennsylvania with legalized gambling. You're starting to see, besides the vape shop, like these, they call them like playrooms now or whatever. Right. And, they'll have like light snacks and maybe a pool table, then like a bunch of slot machines. And those are popping up more. The saddest is when you see like a mini casino, as they like to call it, in a Rudders. To me, that is sad. And you see people in there just like.
Now, the gambling is legal. Is that just 2 machines, or can they have like roulette wheels and stuff like that? Card games. What is?
Like a casino can, yes. Like in
Okay.
a designated casino, you can have cards and roulette. But then when you
Okay.
get to the secondary places, they can only have the slot machines.
So it's like you have to have like a casino license or something like that, so that a gaming license or something, so that you can have like live interaction with the dealer or something. But if you're just machines and
Yeah, because I guess the thought is when you're doing cards and roulette, you need more oversight. You need
yeah,
people to run that and that makes sense because either the casino is stealing or the player is stealing because
right,
they're both there to steal from each other essentially.
right,
But yeah,
yeah,
and these little shops, yeah, it's just slot machines, or as they like to call them here, games of skill, because they're not like a regular slot machine because you actually got to
right.
touch the screen to make your match.
Okay, that's skill. That takes skill. Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's skill.
yeah. Because you got to do that and not get the stuff on your fingers. So
Yeah, even though the machines, like when you do it, it grays out. It tells you like like, oh, now I have to touch the screen. And you just got to be able to have enough intelligence to be like, oh yeah, these are matches.
well, Heavy Kev in New Zealand says, first lap dance I had at 18. Stripper left snail trail on my leather trousers. It was rough. First of all, you were wearing leather trousers. That's my concern. I'm not bothered by the snail trail or the stripper or that you were 18, but you were wearing leather trousers. That's
Laura and I got married in Vegas, and the day that we got married, I went to a strip club. I went to Cheetah's that night.
oh. Now Cheetah's high end in Vegas like it is in Atlanta?
Yeah, it was at the time. I guess I don't know if it's still like one of the top clubs, but at the time I was there, that was one of the most. The women in there were the
High end.
talent. Yeah, nice. Because a lot of them were like from California
You're right.
or somewhere from Vegas. So they're like, yeah, I'll go to Vegas or I'll go to LA, then back and forth.
That's how it was in Atlanta. It was high end.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, we were in a BMW, and that was like that was really, 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 really low end for the other cars that were in the parking lot. I don't think there was a car, and this was a good 20 years ago. Way more, actually more than 20 years ago, because I wasn't even married to this is like a 90 something. And there wasn't a car in that parking lot under $75,000, except for the one that we were in.
Yeah.
So it was used to be and matter of fact, that was the last time I got drunk. That was the last time I got shit-faced, passed out drunk. And that's because I didn't have to pay for anything because I was a guest, and they kept plowing me with liquor for free. But when I'm not paying for liquor, it's easy to get me drunk because well, not now, but back then. Because when I was younger and I paid for my own liquor, I had like a budget, and once that money was gone, that's it. I stopped drinking, But when someone else
if someone's going to give it to you,
yeah.
When I worked for Frito back in the day, I was in Texas one time. We were down there for meetings or whatever, and then the one evening they had like a dinner picnic for us at Arlington Stadium for a Rangers game, and it was free food and there was free beer. And so during the time that was open, 2 or 3 hours or whatever it was, I was like, you know what, I'm here, I'm gonna get hammered because it won't cost me anything, and then I'll get out of here. And so that's what I did. Like I drank, I had a nice buzz going. I was watching a little bit of the game Especially it was nice after the sun went down because it was a nice breeze and shit like that. And then around the 7th inning stretch, I was like, I had that moment of clarity. I'm like, I'm feeling pretty good. I got to go to my hotel now and beat all this traffic because I can't sit in traffic hammered. So
Oh
I
no,
went,
I'll fall asleep if I did that.
yeah. So luckily the hotel was like down the road from the stadium. So I went out to my car. There's like no traffic and just hightailed it right to my hotel.
Man,
And when I got to my hotel, I got out of the car and I'm like, that was good. I made it.
I'll sleep in a parking lot now, but I made it back to the hotel. Now, are you going? This is going to sound strange. You've been away from Frito-Lay for what? Almost 2 years now?
Yeah, over 2 years now.
Over 2 years. What does it feel like? How long does it feel like you've been gone?
I don't know. It's I'm happy I'm not there. So I like my current job, and yeah, I don't really think about it too much. I'm actually no. When I pass the building or whatever, I'll see it like I'm glad I don't work for that company anymore.
Now, how long has it been since you've been in Texas?
I was there like 2 years ago.
Okay, because I was about to ask you, because I can't be honest, I don't do time very well. I can do events, but I just don't remember like when they happened.
Yeah.
Did you plan on going back? And have you gone? No, did you plan? Or, like, did you think to yourself, I'll be back in a year or 2 years, or has that time come when you thought you might be back already?
I thought I was planning on being back in Tampa already, but I'm still gonna do that. I'm gonna go down to Florida again. Um,
Yeah. Oh, okay. For those of you thinking, Ron passed. He froze in mid-sentence. I'm looking at a frozen screen. Uh, I was going to ask him about, yeah, he's talking about going back down to Florida. I have not performed in Florida since I started, so it's been like 11, almost 12 years. I'd like to go back down and perform in the southern part of Florida. I have friends down there. I like to eventually, but I'm not in a hurry because, like I said, I've already done the Florida thing. Um, I've not done a gig as a headliner, but I did do a featured gig down there. So it's not, my priorities are going to places that I haven't been to yet. Well, I've lost Ron and I don't have a lot to talk about. So I'm going to remind people that this Sunday, the Church of Last Resort, 9 a.m., we will be looking at the lyrics to I Still Believe by the band called The Call from their album Reconciled. That'll be our Looking for God in All the Wrong Places segment. Of course, we're doing the obituaries in the beginning part. And then join us Monday. If you feel so inclined, please come back and join us Monday. Hopefully Matt will be feeling better, well enough to want to torture people. And but until then, I am not playing Matt's music to end up. I'm going to play mine, and I'm going to play I Haven't Got a Clue, because that's exactly how I feel. All right, I'll talk to you later. Thank you for watching, and hopefully, if Matt's not the next time that I'm here by myself and Matt is not here, if you would like, I will play my first time doing comedy. It was an 8-minute set. I won't make you watch all 8 minutes at one time. I'll do like 4 minutes or 2 minutes and 2 minutes or something like that. 2, 2, 2, and 2 or something like that. But I'll play that the next time. I was going to do it today, but I'll do it next time. All right, so thank you for watching, and we will catch you next time around. And yeah, Sunshine, you have a good weekend. Heavy Cab, everybody, thank you for watching. And I will see you guys some of you, I will see you on Sunday with the Church of Last Resort, 9 a.m. Eastern Time. Thanks a lot.
But I haven't got a clue what it is I have to be to get next to you. Well, I guess another man would know those lines and lies and law, but I've never learned those posh cliches you've heard them all before. Do I go broke wearing fancy clothes, and do I play games? Do I just put on a show, and do I pretend that I'm something else? And do I risk it all and make a fool of myself? Am I fooling myself? Oh, I haven't got a clue. How do I make a bond between me and you? Now, woman, I'm tired of being blue. But tell me what to do, 'cause I haven't got a clue. I'm stupid, 'cause I haven't got a clue. I feel like I'm drowning, man, could I get some help from you? Well, I guess another man would know how to cross this great divide. And if I were another man, would I catch your eye? And do I go broke, wearing fancy clothes? And do I play games? Do I just put on a show? And do I pretend that I'm something else? And do I risk it all or make a fool of myself? Am I fooling myself? Oh, I haven't got a clue. How do I make a bond between me and you? Now, woman, I'm tired of being blue. But tell me what to do, 'cause I haven't got a clue.